you. Good evening. Mr. Funfar, are we recording and everything now?
I believe so, Ms. Drummond.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that. The music was a little lower than it usually is. Good evening. I'm Susan Drummond, City of Pasco hearing examiner. Today is Wednesday evening, May 13th, 2020, about 6 p.m. We are holding our second remote public hearing due to the COVID-19 situation. We have six items on our agenda today, and I will hear them in the order as they're listed on the agenda. The TDJK Road 84 preliminary plat, the Empire Estates preliminary plat, the Pasco KOA expansion, that's a special permit request, the Fun Kids Daycare, that is also a special permit request, the Goodwill Wrigley Drive, that's a special permit request as well. And then finally, there is a rezone request, that is the Bush RS20 to RS12 rezone proposal. The order of procedure on all of these will be just the same as if we were going live, meaning not in a remote hearing room. The planning department will provide a summary of each proposal. I have reviewed the staff reports for all of the proposals. Then the applicant will have an opportunity to present, and then we'll open the matter up for public comment. Anyone who has called in and wishes to provide testimony on the proposal may do so. And then the applicant may address any of the concerns that are raised during comment. Planning department may have clarifications, and I may have questions throughout. We didn't have any technical difficulties with our last hearing, and I don't anticipate any with this one, but I will be keeping the record open for a few days, probably through Monday. I'll make a final determination at the close of the hearing. But that's just in case anyone had any difficulty with their system in terms of calling home or calling in to the remote hearing. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and we'll hear our first matter, which is the TDJK Road 84 preliminary plat, number 2020-001. Who from the planning department is presenting on this?
That would be me.
Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and swear you in, Ms. Darcier. If you could state your name for the record.
Oh, Darcy Borsier.
Thank you. And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury of the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Madam Hearing Examiner. Just so everyone's clear, this is a continuation of the hearing for this plat. We started the hearing last month, so I'll go over some basics to catch everyone up. We're simply calling this the Road 84 plat for now. It consists of 16 low-density single-family dwelling units, 16 low-density single-family lots. It's located at the southeast corner of Road 84 and Massey Drive. And to the south lies the FCID irrigation right-of-way. Lots range from about 9,600 square feet to over 11,000 square feet, which is consistent with the R1 zoning standards. The city is requiring an access easement on lot 16 to connect the development with the future proposed bicycle pedestrian pathway that we are proposing will lie in the FCID right-of-way, extending from Road 76 to Road 100. Staff is required to develop findings of fact, which are stated in the staff report. And these findings show how the plat will promote health, safety, and general welfare for the community. And we've been over this previously. This plat is pretty standard. It doesn't allow for the option to create any alternative layouts. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the plat with the conditions stated in the staff report. And that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, and yes, I did hear this as well at our hearing last month and was continued this hearing. Is the applicant here?
Yes, Jason Maddox with PDS Engineering Environmental gave testimony last month at the public hearing.
I'm picking up a little bit of feedback.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, that sounded better. I'm not sure what that was.
Okay. Yeah, this is.
Hold on. Yeah, we still have some feedback.
I'm not really sure what I can do about that. Using computer audio here, I can try to call in. You can hear me okay. We don't have any additional comments. We gave testimony at last month's hearing, and there's been no updated conditions since that point.
Let me mark you in real quick though. Again, if you could say one more time for the record.
Sure. Jason Maddox.
And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury and
Yes.
Okay. And you had indicated just now you did not have anything to the staff report today. Are you all picking up on me? I feel like when I talk, there's okay. Yeah,
Ms. Drummond?
I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Yeah, Ms. Drummond, I'm sorry. I had to mute you, Mr. Maddox. I apologize. So what I would suggest is either turn down your computer speakers, perhaps, or we'll try this again. But yeah, we're getting, for some reason, a lot of feedback from your end, Mr. Maddox.
That's from Mr. Maddox with the either his speakers or maybe turned up or something like that.
Yeah. So here, I'm going to try to unmute you again, Mr. Maddox, to try again.
Okay, we'll go real quick.
Now?
Yeah, you're still, you're just coming through very, very loudly for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Okay, your speakers may be a little high. That might have been what was causing some of the feedback issue. So, but anyway, as I'd asked earlier, or as you'd mentioned earlier, you don't have anything to add. We'd of course heard this last month as well. That's correct?
That is correct.
Okay, great. So at this point, and we may mute you during this just to make sure we have no feedback issues. But I'll give you an opportunity after we hear to see if there's any public comment, if there's anything else you have to add. So at this point, we will open this up for public comment. Is there anyone who is in our remote hearing room who wishes to provide comment on this proposal?
The hearing room is empty, Madam Examiner.
I know. I mean, the remote hearing room, so it's the metaphysical room, if you will. So not the physical one, but I mean, is there anyone who's called in? I asked to be more specific, who wishes to provide testimony on the proposal. I'm not seeing anyone. And Mr. Funfar, you're not noticing anyone who has indicated they wish to provide comment?
No, there is a virtual raise your hand if you're dialing in from a computer. So I see no hands raised at this point.
Okay. Well, I do not have any questions for either staff or for the applicant. So unless the planning department has anything further, or if the applicant does, I will be, as I mentioned earlier, keeping the record open just in case there were any difficulties calling in. I doubt there were, but just in case, I'll keep the record open through Monday, May 18th, and then a decision will be out shortly thereafter, certainly within 10 business days, which is what I'm required to have the decision out with, and then that will be emailed to the planning department and will be circulated to the applicant and anyone else who requests a copy. Are there any questions from the applicant or planning department? And can we very briefly unmute Mr. Maddox just to make sure he does not have any questions?
He has unmuted.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So at this point, we will move on to the next matter, which is the Empire Estates Preliminary Plat, PP 2020-004. Who from the planning department is presenting on this proposal?
That's me again.
Oh, okay. You remain under oath.
Okay. So thank you again. Empire Estates is a 28 single-family residential preliminary plat. It's roughly aligned with East Helena Street, east of Heritage Boulevard. When complete, the plat area will have access from the extension of Helena Street, as well as the continuation of Road C. Road C is labeled on the plat itself. Primavera Drive, which is a street associated with Tierra Vida, that's a neighborhood located to the east of the plat area, will be extended to connect with East Helena Street in order to serve both Empire Estates and the Tierra Vida neighborhood. The review and construction of both of these streets, both Helena Street and Primavera Drive, will happen simultaneously since the same design engineer is working for both subdivisions and will submit concurrently for both streets. It's important that I point out that Road B and Road C, labeled on the plat, they both will have the potential to provide future connections to the property to the north, and that property is currently an auto salvage yard. So these connections may facilitate a future connection to Lewis Street sometime, eventually. The lots range from around 7,200 square feet to 8,000 square feet in size and meet the standards of the R1 zoning district standards. Each lot will have public street frontage and have access to city utilities such as sewer and water and other utilities. The developer has also submitted a petition to vacate portions of rights-of-way, both streets and alleys within the existing plat of Washington Edition, which is the name of the plat that exists here currently. And the public hearing for that vacation will occur after the preliminary plat approval of this plat to prevent any vacations of right-of-way that will be required to provide sufficient access to the proposed plat as well as the surrounding area. That vacation involves Helena Street and also streets and alleys within the existing plat area itself. And that existing plat of Washington Edition isn't shown here, and that will be subject to a separate hearing. And again, staff is required to develop findings of fact, and those are stated in the staff report. These findings show that the plat will promote health, safety, and general welfare of the community. And staff recommends approval of the plat layout with the conditions stated in the staff report. And that's all I have. Any questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you, Ms. Barcier. So at this point, is the applicant here?
With HBL.
I'm sorry, if you could state your name again.
Caleb Matstead with AHBL.
Can you spell your last name?
M-A-P-S-T-E-A-D.
Thank you. And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you. Is there anything that you wanted to add to the planning department summary of the proposal?
We do not.
Okay. Thank you. At this point, we'll open this up for public comment. Is there anyone who has called in who wishes to provide testimony on this proposal? Mr. Funfar, I'm not seeing any hands raised, but is there anything different on your screen?
I do not see anyone else, but I'll defer to Mr. White.
I do not.
Oh, okay, he's got.
Yes, I do not see any parties that I think are interested in Empire Estates.
For the, if I may interrupt, for the interest of everyone, I'm going to unmute everyone for a moment. So if there is anyone online that would like to speak on this item, you may unmute yourself and speak up. Not seeing any hands raised or anyone unmuting themselves.
Okay. All right. So let the record reflect that no one has indicated that they wish to provide testimony on this proposal. So unless there are any questions from the planning department or anything further from the applicant, as with the other preliminary plat, I will be keeping the record open for a few days through same Monday, May 18th. And that's just in case there was any difficulty with anyone calling in to provide testimony on this proposal. I think everything's working fine, but we'll keep the record open through Monday. Comments should be submitted to the planning department by email by close of business, and those will be forwarded on to me. And a decision on this then will be out within 10 business days at the close of the record, but probably earlier than that. Are there any questions from either the applicant or the planning department or anyone in our audience? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the next item on our agenda. This is the special permit for the Pasco KOA expansion, SP 2019-011. Who from the planning department is presenting on this? Mr. Adams? If you could state your name for
Becca will be doing.
Could you state?
Jeffrey Adams.
Thank you. And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury and the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you.
And just for your information, I will be doing the next 4 reports.
Okay. And you'll remain under oath for all 4 of those.
Good. Okay. This proposal, I'm waiting for it to get on the screen here. Okay. So as see on the map, this proposal is located at approximately the 8200 block of Chapel Hill Boulevard. You can see that it is just west of Road 80 and south of I-182. And adjacent to the east is the Sandy Heights KOA RV Park. And so this is, the proposal here is to extend that RV park to the west. The lot has been recently rezoned from CR, which is a regional commercial zoning district, to C1, which is retail business, with the intent of doing this extension. This was originally 2 lots, and it's been combined into 1, but the lot to the west is approximately 5 acres. As I've mentioned before, their intent here is to expand an existing KOA recreational vehicle park by 55 pads. In March of this year, the lot was rezoned from CR back to C1 in view of expanding the RV park, and that was ordinance number 4484 for your information. A special permit was granted in 1998 for the existing RV park to the east, and that was on lot number 5. The park was developed under master file number SP 1998-002. The applicant has submitted a revised site plan just after the hearing examiner packet was mailed out, and I think
yes,
that revised site plan.
I did receive that. Yes.
Right, and that's the one that's showing on the screen right now. And we request that be included as an additional exhibit.
It is admitted.
The revision. Very good. The revisions to the new site plan include the required 15-foot landscaping screening buffer width along Chapel Hill Boulevard, that's to the south there, and a required fire access egress location along Chapel Hill Boulevard. Applicant has also addressed the open space issue by an email that states we need to have 20% free space unless we have facilities like a pool or tennis court. The original park has a pool and a basketball court, so that should bring the requirement to 15%, and that is a provision that is found in the Pasco Municipal Code. And I have the applicant has submitted a site.
I have that email as well.
Very good. As well, applicant submitted a site plan delineating and calculating the open space areas as 15%. I think I put that on the slideshow as well.
And I have a copy in front of me as well.
Very good. And those are kind of the highlights. Feel free to ask any questions. There it is. That's the open space calculation. And that's all I have for this report.
Okay, and all of those exhibits are admitted. So at this point, we'll open this. We'll move to the applicant. Is the applicant here?
I am.
If you could state your name for the record.
Travis Lundquist, Lundquist.
Thank you. And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you. Is there anything that you wanted to add to the planning department summary of the proposal?
So far, everything is in the summary.
Okay. So at this point, we will open this up for public comment. Is there anyone who has called in who wishes to provide testimony on this proposal? And if we could briefly unmute so they can either raise their hand or speak up. I'm not hearing anything. Mr. White, are you seeing any raised hands over there?
No.
Okay. All right. Let the record reflect that there is not anyone who has indicated they wish to provide testimony on this proposal. As with the prior proposals, the record will be open through Monday of next week, which is May 18th. Comments should be submitted to the planning department via email by 5 p.m. and those will be forwarded on to me. A decision will issue within 10 business days of that, probably earlier. And that will be provided to the planning department, and then they will provide that to the applicant and anyone else who requests a copy. Are there any procedural questions from the applicant, planning department, or the public? Okay, I think, all right, with that, we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is special permit 2020-001. This is for the Fun Kids Daycare Center. And Mr. Adams, you had indicated you are presenting on all of these, so you may proceed.
Yes. Okay. Applicant has requested the hearing be continued to the June 10, 2020 meeting with the anticipation of our convening at City Hall rather than remotely for this item.
Okay. Is there anyone from the audience who wanted to comment on that? And if we could briefly unmute them so they can indicate either verbally or by raising a hand. Mr. White, do you see any raised hands?
No.
Okay. And I do not hear anyone, so let the record reflect that there is not anyone who wished to comment on the requested continuance. I think there is a reasonable basis for granting the request given our current situation. So the matter will be continued to the next regular hearing, which hopefully will no longer be remote, which would be on June 10th. Mr. Adams, are there any questions on that? Okay, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda. This is special permit 2020-002 for Goodwill Industries of the Columbia, Inc.
Thank you, Madam Examiner. Goodwill Industries of the Columbia has requested to permit a special permit to build a Goodwill at the corner of the southeast corner of Road 76 and Wrigley Drive. There's the map there. As you can see by the map, it's just south of the library, the public library. They're on Wrigley Drive and just north of the Walmart. So for reference, zoning, the site was annexed into the city in 1982. That's by Ordinance 2388 and assigned the C1D to designated shopping center zoning. That's Resolution 1396 for your information. The C1D zone was deleted in its entirety and replaced with the C1 retail business zoning designation in 1995 by Ordinance 3093. Property has retained that C1 zoning designation since that time. The lot is approximately 5 acres, 4.96 acres. And as mentioned before, the applicant is proposing a 20,000 square foot Goodwill donation-based retail thrift shop, along with a warehousing and donation site and an employment center, and also a 2-story, 25,000 square foot office building for their central Goodwill corporate offices. And the retail, as you can see on the site plan, you've got a retail building to the north, and then the corporate office building would be that south U-shaped or N-shaped building, depending on how you're looking at it. According to PMC 25165.170 subsection 1, thrift shops may be operated in the C1 retail business district upon issuance of a special permit. However, no new thrift shop may be located closer than 1,000 feet from an existing consignment source thrift store or pawn shop. Also, PMC 25165.170- or subsection 3 specifies that all business activities of thrift shops need to be conducted entirely within an enclosed structure. This is not mentioned in the report, but the property lies within the I-182 corridor overlay district, and therefore those standards shall apply to this project. As well, a traffic impact analysis will be required prior to development of any portion of this project, and the TIA must be incorporated into the special permit as one of the conditions of approval. The developer must mitigate all impacts identified in that TIA. The donation drop-off area of the store is located on the west side of the building facing Road 76 and the estate fence of the residential district that's just beyond, to the west of the building. One of the issues that we noticed in other facilities like this is that there's the inevitability of midnight drop-off, and so in order to mitigate against that likelihood, we would require as the conditions, site management, including signage, store policies, and cameras, and site design, which would include additional landscaping, walls, and fencing around the drop-off area. And you can see some of that mitigation as drawn on the plan there. Also, a condition has been proposed that a monitoring plan shall be submitted to the Director of Community and Economic Development for approval, and that the special permit may be revoked if the monitoring plan is not instituted and followed, or if the site becomes a chronic nuisance as defined in PMC 9.95.020. So those are the kind of highlights of that report.
Okay. I don't think I have the site plan, so if you could forward that to me, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
You can do it after the hearing.
All right.
So is the applicant here?
Yeah, I'm here.
can you state your name for the record?
Ken Gosney.
Can you spell your...
G-O-S-N-E-Y.
Thank you. Can you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you. Was there anything that you wanted to add to the planning department's summary of the proposal?
No.
Okay. And you've reviewed the proposed conditions and don't have any concerns with those?
No, we're good with the proposed conditions.
Okay. All right. Thank you. At this time, we'll open this up for public comment. If we could briefly unmute the microphones. If there's anyone who has called in who wishes to provide testimony, please either raise your hand or speak. Mr. White, are you seeing any raised hands?
No, none.
Well, actually, Mr. Strickler there.
Yes, sir.
Did you?
Mr. Strickler?
Go ahead.
Did you wish to provide testimony, Mr. Strickler?
I do.
Oh, okay. If you could state your name for the record.
Dirk Stricker.
And could you spell your last name?
Stricker.
And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington?
I do.
Thank you.
Well, I just believe this plan, the way it's laid out, I'm in favor of what I've seen, and the broker part of this deal with the landowner. But as seen how retail becomes evolving, and with the new type of retail, which this provides a service and a direction to a growing trend. And with the design and layout and the location, I think it will service the community pretty well. That's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would wish to testify on this proposal? Mr. White, are you seeing any additional raised hands?
No, none.
Okay. Let the record reflect that there is no one else who has indicated that they wish to testify on this proposal. Unless there is anything else from the planning department or the applicant, as with the other proposals this evening, we'll be keeping the record open through Monday, May 18th, close of business 5 p.m. If you have any comments, please email those to the planning department, and the department will provide me with those comments. A decision on this will then be out within 10 business days of the close of the record. That will be forwarded to the department, and then the department will forward that to the applicant and to anyone else who would like a copy of that proposal. Are there any procedural questions from the department, applicant, or our online audience? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to the last proposal on the agenda. This is a rezone proposal. The applicant is Tim Bush, care of Mr. Knutson. Matter number Z 2020-001. Mr. Adams, if you could provide a summary of this proposal. And I do, by the way, there was a comment that had come in in February on this, and I do have that. That was forwarded with the staff report.
Very good. That should be Exhibit 1. So this proposal is located across from the gravel mining operation on Harris Road. You can see that just north of the red box on the map. At 11-920 Harris Road. The site was annexed into the city via Ordinance 3570 and assigned RS20 zoning. Ordinance 3571 in the year 2002. The lot is approximately 1.76 acres and contains one single-family dwelling unit that was built in 1995. Applicant is seeking to rezone the parcel from RS20, 20,000 square foot lot minimum lot size, to RS12 in order to subdivide the lot into 4 single-family lots. Currently, the lot can be subdivided into 3 lots. comprehensive plan designates the property low-density residential. And in that zoning, or in that comprehensive plan designation, lots may be zoned RS20, RS12, RS1, or R1, or R1A. The low-density residential designation includes residential development at a density of 2 to 5 dwellings per acre. And that's my summary.
Okay. Thank you. I do not have any questions. Is the applicant here?
Yes, this is Paul Knutson, K-N-U-T-Z-E-N.
Thank you. And you swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Was there anything you wanted to add to the planning department summary of the proposal?
The planning department nailed it right on the head. Initially, we had submitted this as an application for a 4-lot short plat, but we were all about 20,000 square feet. In fact, they were 2 lots were less than 10% deviant or variant. I can't talk tonight. They were less than 10% of the R20. So then the suggestion came to us that the city would prefer and would entertain a rezone. And I would agree. I think that makes a lot more sense. It's a lot easier. It's consistent with the underlying comprehensive land use plan. So thanks for having us.
Thank you. And I do not have any questions for you. At this time, we'll open this up for public comment. If we could unmute the microphones. And if there is anyone who has called in who wishes to provide testimony, if you could state that or raise your hand. Mr. White, are you seeing any raised hands?
No.
Okay, and I'm not hearing anyone indicating that they wish to testify on this proposal. So as with all the earlier proposals, we'll be keeping the record open through Monday, May 18th. Comments should be submitted to the planning department. They will forward them on to me. On the rezone, I don't make the final decision. I make only a recommendation. That recommendation is then forwarded to the city council. They make the final decision. But my recommendation will be out within 10 business days at the close of the record, if not earlier. And once it is out, it will be provided to the applicant and anyone else who would like a copy of that. Are there any procedural questions from the department, applicant, or the public?
Madam Examiner, this is Rick White. I did have a note to make sure that you know the packet did include a further comment that was dated March 7th. And it's labeled exhibit number 2.
Let me just make sure I have everything. So there's the Mark Coronado. This is an April 7 comment.
Yes.
There's then a March 7 comment.
Yes.
And I believe that's also from Mark and Kim Coronado.
Yes.
And then there's a comment as well from the Confederated Tribes of the Colville Reservation. It's by Arrow Coyote. They're archaeologists. And
yes.
That's dated February 24th, 2020. Was there anything additional, or do I have everything?
No, you have everything.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, with that, we have heard all of the matters on the agenda. Before we close, just want to make sure, is there anything else that needs to be addressed or any last procedural questions from anyone? Okay, I'm not hearing that there is. All right, thank you all. I appreciate your cooperation in this remote hearing process. We are adjourned.